Well, we're back, people, and look who it is. Confused
Oh
Matthew.
boy, one of the earliest of the prequel haters, and one of the guys that started the prequel hating to begin with, actually.
Along with
Lincoln.
Red Letter Media and that Plinkett bullshit. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, before we turn them apart, this is General CJG here, as always.
And the Shadow King, King Nazu, ruler of the Shadow Realm, the Dark King with 1,000 titles.
Mm-hmm. And today we are actually, since we're going to get ready to be making our Force Awakens podcast, I think this is a perfect time that we should be talking about some Force Awakens stuff,
Oh,
specifically
yeah.
reacting to this review. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh, especially for me, because this is the video where I said I was done with Confused Mathew. He is dead to me.
Well, let's see why that's the case. So, shall we get going, Iron?
And I just wanted to say, look at that avatar. He's like, ooh. That explains a lot of things, you know?
It even looks dumber than his old one, and he's even gotten some more dislikes since I last saw the video.
Good.
Well, let's check it out, guys.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
You know what's funny? I think if anyone had tried to make a Star Wars film before the prequels that didn't involve George Lucas in any way, the reaction would have been, "How dare you? You can't make a Star Wars film without George Lucas? Heresy, I say." But as The Force Awakens was made 10 years after the prequel films stunk up the place and shit all over the franchise with their filth, the reaction to Abrams' new film going in was more like, well, thank God that nut isn't involved in these anymore. Maybe now we can at least get a decent Star Wars film out of the deal. And you know, I actually think it might have turned out a little better than that. I was very happy with The Force Awakens. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have good Star Wars films again.
Good?
Of course
Good? Look at this crap. Characters who have personalities and story arcs, a consistent look into the universe. This is like a Star Wars film. But not these ones, the bad Star Wars films. The one that I don't like, but everyone else on Earth does. What I don't like is what's bad, and what I like is good, and everyone else is wrong. It's my story, and if I...
Shut up!
Stop.
Oh, God. That's one of the first parts in which I literally ranted yesterday when I was first listening to this shit.
Okay, yeah, let's go over everything he said.
Well, first...
Yeah,
oh, sorry. You're first, King.
He's basically saying that George Lucas, that Star Wars is better off with George Lucas not being involved in any way with these new films. And that obviously is not true.
And also, where's your proof that George Lucas said any of that shit? Like...
Yeah, when did he say he did not like the original trilogy? He only likes the prequels. That is nonsense. That is nonsense.
Yeah, that's just you're just putting words in his mouth.
Oh, kind of like Plinkett.
Yeah, by the way, Iron, see your comment. You gave you a like.
Wait, what?
I gave a like to your comment. I found it in the comment.
Yeah. Anyway, so and you know something that should have actually been the avatar of Confused Mathew, if you ask me. That angry face with the red eyes, because it describes what it truly is.
Yeah.
He's more like
but
what is he ooh, he said something about characters.
Yeah, that avatar would be appropriate. It's just a butthurt nostalgia tard.
That is.
So anyway, what do you guys think about what he said about characters?
Oh, that was shit. But you want
characters? I didn't realize the Failure Awakens had characters.
Oh, he talks about the characters in detail later in the video. But you want to know what pissed the shit out of me with this one? Is how he literally was saying oh god no.
Wait, was it because?
Let's save it.
Oh, right now. Oh.
I say let's save it because actually it gets worse. This is only the beginning. Let's continue this shit.
Oh, also about the whole thing about consistent with the universe. You realize the prequels were set in a different era, and it was meant to be different. So shut up.
Oh, it only gets worse.
No. Iron, you gotta remember, just Confused Mathew is much like Shaunicus. He only wants his like the original trilogy to be recycled over and over again.
But unlike Shaunicus, this guy goes full rage on the prequels. In fact, I say let's continue this shit.
And unlike Shaunicus, he's still defending Disney canon.
Yeah. So, shall we get on? Because it only gets worse, guys. Let's go.
I'm at 104. So
Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Shut up, crazy man! You have no power here anymore, you man.
Oh.
So yeah, like I said, good
fuck
Star
you,
Wars
too.
films again. The story is very similar to the original Star Wars, but you know what? At least we're keeping things simple this time. None of this Trade Federation, Republic Queen, taxation blockade bullshit. Nice and simple. Luke Skywalker has vanished. Boom. Evil uprising happens because of it. Bam. Good guys lead a resistance. Zing. They're all trying to find Luke and restore peace and justice? Oh, come on, guys. How long were you gonna let me get that quote wrong? Must have been thinking about Superman or something. Thought y'all thought it was funny. Y'all just laughing at me. I also love the look of this film.
Oh, I want to stop right here and...
Okay. What do you want to say, Iron?
So he literally admits that he's stupid because he just wants everything to be simple.
Even though the prequels aren't really that hard to understand.
Yeah, literally, they're not.
They're not, but you know how much politics, it's burning my brain.
You need the politics to world building.
But remember, guys, I only want my lasers. I only want my practical effects, which, oh boy, it gets worse in this video. Oh god.
Oh yeah, I can't wait till he brings that up so I can yell at him.
oh, it's gonna happen, Iron. So I say, continue this shit.
Or it looks like he's about to talk about the look of the film. I'm at 155.
Yes.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
One of the biggest mistakes I saw the prequels make, aside from existing at all, was trying to pretend that the original films didn't look, sound, or feel the way they did. Lucas had been famously quoted as being disappointed and unhappy with how the original Star Wars turned out, which puts a dent in credibility when you remember that this garbage was supposedly closer to his original vision. The man had babbled on for also this garbage. The man had babbled on for also this garbage. The man had babbled also this garbage. The man had babbled on for years about what a dismal experience
he thought Pause. Iron, did you pause?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to pause here because I want to know, where did George Lucas actually say this shit?
Show me where George thought or said this.
Yeah, put up or shut up.
Yeah, and who is AP? Like, who is he talking about? And did he actually say... Did he actually say the special edition ones are the films that he wanted to make? Wait, are you shitting me? Did he actually say that? He got everything he made. He made it just perfect. I'm going to put it out there. He got a new perspective, got new resources. Wait, are you shitting me? Finally, I stopped saying that, but in the end. What the hell? Are you serious? And he's saying that why not release both the original special edition, because special edition, that's the one I wanted out there. The other movies from the VHS. Did he actually say that, guys? Did he actually say that he just wanted the special editions out in the mass, not the original versions?
I don't recall him ever saying that.
You know,
and also, there are some things that the special editions greatly improved.
Oh, the visual effects.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Death Star battle from the theatrical release. It looks dated as hell.
Oh, yes, it does.
It doesn't really hold up.
No, it doesn't. The 97 special edition fixed that shit. Like, it seriously does.
So there you go, people. There's an example of practical effects that don't age well.
Also, here's one. George Lucas literally just said, you know, that the the original versions, it's on VHS. You can get it there. Then why is there a unaltered special edition for DVD released 2006? You know, remember that, guys? That actually exists.
Yeah, he did release it.
So, where is this interview that you're showing, Confused Mathew? You're sure you didn't, I don't know, write it yourself or something? Make it seem that Lucas said it? Unless you show the sources, I'm not gonna believe this shit.
Exactly.
That feels more like a nostalgia critic thing to do.
Except that unlike the NC, this guy is just balls to the wall skating in the prequels. In fact, it only gets worse, guys. Continue this shit.
All right, let's go on. I'm at 227.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
First films were visually. George, you're the only one who feels that way. The rest of us thought they were fine. Great even. These were the dismal experiences. Just thank God you don't have control over this anymore.
Oh God, I've sold my soul to white slavers.
Lucas making the prequels the way he wanted turned out to be shit because it didn't look, sound, act, or feel even remotely like the originals. It was all a bunch of green-screen, terribly acted and written CGI shit that didn't match the classics in any way, shape, or form. That was a mistake and an utter waste of life, but equally bad would have been trying to make these films look and sound exactly like the originals, as if 30 years of progress in films had never happened, because then it would have come across as a pastiche, a pale imitation of a style long since gone. So what we got instead was this amazing...
I want to stop.
Must be nice living in the...
You stopped, Iron?
Yes.
Okay. So...
Confused Matthews. Do you realize that the prequels use more practical effects than the original trilogy, right?
Yes, and saying that it would have been awful if the prequels just kind of recycled the original trilogy. It must be really nice living in a glass house. Confused Mathew?
Also, here's something. He showed some shots from the Phantom Menace. Do you know the Phantom Menace actually has more practical effects than almost the entire original trilogy combined?
And each prequel that came after had more practical effects than the next. I mean than the last.
Except maybe Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith.
But then again, Revenge of the Sith. But then again, Revenge of the Sith CGI looks so damn good. Like
it's aged pretty well.
In fact, he showed one of the shots of the Battle of Coruscant. That shit looks so fucking awesome. How does it look like Bommet again? Because he said that it looks like Bommet. Oh.
And geez, I'm so sick of you people acting like practical effects are the end-all be-all. It's not.
You get that especially with people like the people from Channel Awesome or like Angry Video Game Nerd. He's kind of
actually, James Rolfe doesn't go full on prequel hating. Actually,
no, I'm talking about the whole practical effect thing.
But here's the thing: the Angry Video Game Nerd is an actual filmmaker. He actually does competent filmmaking, so it will make it.
And he's also
he has more arguments compared to.
He's also kind of toned down his hate towards CGI.
Yeah, he isn't really going fully prequel hating. It's actually more of his own opinion and kind of going with the general consensus of prequels, which unfortunately can persuade even the more innocent minds could get persuaded by that bullshit. But we know who to thank for, and the asshole that we're reacting to right now, Confused Mathew. So
You remember what he said about like, ooh, this is what everyone was thinking, what everyone wanted, like a minute or so back. No, it's just what a select few elite butthurt original trilogy fanboys were thinking. Not everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, I know people who were furious just by the mere concept that they were recycling a storyline from 30 or 40 years ago. I mean, that is not a good reason for me to get out of the house, go turn on your car, waste all that gas, buy some popcorn, buy your ticket, and watch a film for several hours.
Speaking of doing the same thing that the movie did 30 years ago. He actually is going to talk about that right now, actually.
Oh.
So, Ivan,
So let's
ready?
continue on.
Where are you?
319.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Compromise between the two. The film hits a stride of old and new in almost perfect measure. Sometimes we get visuals that take us right back to the originals, and sometimes the feel has a more modern sensibility. This works well a lot of the times, sometimes it doesn't, but the result is a film that feels as though it's not stuck in the past, but isn't leaving the past completely behind either. It's a strategy that, with one or two exceptions, I felt was pulled off very well. This feels like a Star Wars movie in the 21st century. True to its roots, but still a product
The
of
prequels
its
feel like
time.
Star Wars
Now,
movies.
when this movie came out, I had heard that it was pretty similar to the original Star Wars.
Listen to
And after
this.
seeing it for myself, I said, yeah, okay, that's fair, I guess. Then as the months went on, I kept hearing that it was exactly like the original. Okay, this is getting a little hyperbolic, I said, but I see where you're coming from. But sadly, today, pretty much all you hear about this film anymore is Star Wars The Force Awakens is just the first Star Wars again.
Yes.
Well,
Seriously?
Well, it's not wrong.
You watched the movie and that's all you came away with? I mean, that's maybe
I also came
kind
with the
of
fact
true
that
of the
the
over
story's
story.
convoluted.
Basically,
I mean, that's
sure.
the
A
whole-
droid with an
let him
important
explain.
thing in it
Let
gets
him
stranded on a
explain.
planet, meets a character who gradually gets wrapped up in the events and learns that she's more important than she knew. An evil guy is planning to take over the galaxy but must find the droid and its secret before they can be stopped. A mentor figure guides the character somewhere and then gets killed. A big space cannon blows up at the end, etc., etc. Now, obviously,
Yep.
that is very similar to the original Star Wars. And I would say that beat for beat, you're actually right. It is identical to the
So you
original
admit
Star
it.
Wars. But Star Wars has never been about the over story, it's about the characters. And the character stories in this
so
film
that's
couldn't
his
be more
reason.
different from the original. Unlike Luke, who had the benefit of a loving family, Rey is a young woman who has been stranded on a hostile and unforgiving world her whole life, abandoned by whom we presume were her parents, but we actually don't really know. We don't even hear much from Rey at first. We simply see a day in her life and get to know her through her actions and her loneliness. We see that she's learned to take care of herself and that she has no one else to rely on. Luke's conflict was that he wanted to get out and see the galaxy, but his aunt and uncle wanted a more basic life for him, which we later learn was to prevent him from becoming more like his father. Rey's story is more of a mystery. It's more about learning who she is and where she comes from, who she's connected to in the larger story being told. But that's not to say that
The
we know
mystery's only
nothing of
as
her
good as its
character. We see that
payoff.
she's had to learn to fend for herself and isn't used to having
Yep.
friends or dreaming about anything other than those people in her life coming back for her. But then later when she crosses the path of BB-8, we see her courage and her compassion as she takes him in and helps him.
Courage and
Rey knows
compassion.
what it's like to be alone and wouldn't wish that on anyone. But I'll tell you
Yet
the
she
moment
was
that made me
willing to
really
abandon
love what
the
they were
droid.
doing with this character. When the First Order comes
What?
looking for BB-8 and she and Finn are running away from them, Finn keeps taking her by the hand and leading her away. And this annoys the hell out of her at first. This girl just isn't used to being helped by anyone. But what I noticed later on when they were on the freighter with Han and Chewie is that when they're being attacked by the Men in Black aliens, he takes her hand this time, and she has absolutely no objection to it. She learns to
President
trust her
mentioned love
friends and even
craft.
learns to be proud of her accomplishments rather than seeing them as just an everyday struggle to survive. I've heard this character be accused of being a
Okay,
Mary
quiet,
Sue.
pause, because then he's going to go into something here. So, okay, do you guys think that just because the characters are not necessarily the same as the original trilogy, does it make the movie not the same as Episode 4?
Of course not. That's the story is still ripping off the original trilogy. We didn't.
Same story, slightly
We
different
shouldn't have to-
characters.
Yeah, same conflict, same plot points, just different characters. I mean, we shouldn't have to pay dozens of dollar bills just to see a recycled plot that we could just watch at home for free.
That is true. And Dark
Especially one that's less competently written.
Novia said it yesterday when we were doing a call. He said that it doesn't matter if the characters have some differences. It's still the same general plot from the original movie. That's what he said. And you know what? I think it's true, especially because, some different characters, but the story is the same. We know how it's going to play out. So, what is the difference again? Just because some characters have some different backstories doesn't mean that it's not that is a different story. It's the same goddamn main story of the movie.
It also hurts when the characters' backstories and motivations don't make sense, and thus you lose more investment in this movie.
Oh, yes, indeed. Now, get ready, guys, because here's where he's going to tackle the Mary Sue argument.
Oh yeah. But
Boy.
speaking of which, Iron, did you see my message about the Wedding Folly video being that we reacted in August? That should help you find it.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, but that's for a later day. Okay, so Iron, ready? Where are you now?
I'm at 6:44.
Okay, nice. And let's.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Then I had to run over to Google to find out what the fuck that was. For those of you who
Of
don't
course
know,
you did,
a Mary
you idiot.
Sue, at least according to Wikipedia, refers to an idealized and seemingly perfect fictional character. Often this character is recognized as an author insert or wish fulfillment. They can usually perform better at tasks than should be possible given the amount of training or experience. And no character in history has been accused of this more than Rey. Some indeed
true.
do see her as being
Alice.
instantly good at
Alice
everything,
has been
perfect and
accused of
pure, all the characters instantly like her, etc. I must reiterate for the second or third time that just wasn't my experience with this character at all. I mean, she wasn't immediately good at everything. It took some
Things I
trial and
know I
error for her
can't
to
take
fly
you
the Millennium
seriously.
Falcon right, to use the Jedi mind trick properly. She ended up getting captured by Kylo Ren fairly easily. And I mean, she wasn't completely flawless. She had reservations about bringing BB-8 with her, and she refused the call to destiny when she was given the lightsaber by Glasses Not Yoda. Oh, that was my first funny Star Wars nickname in a while. But I mean, how odd is it that in order to defend Rey to some people, you have to start listing off what's wrong with her? I don't want to sound too conspiratorial, but I usually only see this complaint raised when it's a girl character. If you asked me to name a Star Wars character that...
Agree.
I stopped. Do you want to talk
Wait.
about what he said?
I think we should pause.
Pause. Pause, Iron.
I already paused. I was telling you guys to pause.
Okay, my bad. So,
What are your thoughts?
well,
I mean,
first,
the whole when he gets into the whole conspiracy thing and saying that we're all being it's like they're just being misogynistic fans. It's like he's being the anti-fandom menace.
You could say that. What I say is that just because Rey had struggled at the very first seconds to pilot the Falcon doesn't mean that she is not competent to fly a Falcon. She flew that damn ship better than Han and Chewie combined.
And she still performed the Jedi mind trick successfully, even though it should have taken her years to even perform that move.
Yep.
And she didn't even learn how to do it. All she did was hear that the Jedi were real. She didn't know the nuances of doing the techniques that the Jedi know.
And she literally had no training in the Force whatsoever.
She didn't even see anybody use the mind trick. Luke at least saw Obi-Wan do it, so at least he knew how it works or how it's done.
And then years later, he finally mastered it
Yeah.
and enough to competently do it.
Yeah, this would be like if a Kingdom Hearts character heard about Keyblade wielders, even though despite thinking that they were a myth or never hearing about them before, then suddenly they can call forth a Keyblade. But in lore, you have to prove yourself be worthy of a Keyblade. It doesn't matter if you're good or evil. You still have to have a strong heart and will to wield the Keyblade. But if someone just pulls that out of nowhere just after hearing it, then that just breaks the lore and takes people out of this.
Yep, indeed. And there's something far worse before he scares Mary Sue argument. So get ready, Iron. In what part are you?
I'm at 7:56.
Oh, get ready, because it's gonna get worse.
All right, let's go. 3,
Shit.
2,
Yes.
1, go.
was completely perfect, instantly good at everything, and people automatically liked them. The first name that springs to my mind is little Anakin Skywalker from The Phantom Menace. I didn't hear anyone making this complaint about him. Not saying
Because
they
he
didn't,
wasn't
just
a
saying I didn't
Gary
hear it.
Stu.
I have bad hearing, don't make fun of me. But I mean, I guess I can see how people might think this of Rey just due to the nature of the character. Personally, I don't count the prequel films, but if you do, it was easy to understand why Anakin was as amazing as he was right off the bat because you already know he's Darth Vader. You already know what he's supposed to be capable of and why. Rey's background is more of a mystery. All we really know is that she's naturally good at these things. But actually, as I say that, you know what? I take it back. I actually don't understand this complaint. It was very clear from the start that there is a mystery behind Rey's abilities that are to be explained later. She isn't just good at everything. Obviously, there's going to be a reason for this. We just don't know what it is yet. Maybe if this was going to be the only new Star Wars movie and we had Rey exactly as she was, I could see where people were coming from. But to assume that the writers just wanted her to be the most awesomest girl in the universe out of some sort of wish fulfillment completely ignores the fact that the why of Rey is her story. This is obviously going to be more fleshed out when we get to the other films. I mean, even Rey doesn't understand how she can do
this
what she
video
can
did
do.
not age
When she
well.
and Finn discussed with excitement how they
No,
were
it
able to escape
didn't.
Jakku, she tells him directly that she has no idea how she was able to pilot the Falcon the way she did. Again, it's obvious that this is all part of the larger story they intend to tell with her later, and just assuming that this character was designed to be the idealized fantasy of her creators is a bit silly to me under those circumstances. Look, we all have different tastes, we can't all like the same things. I'm not saying you have to like Rey or anything, I'm just saying that if the Mary Sue issue is the biggest thing that bothers you about her, maybe just give this a little time. Still got 2 films to go. So then we have Finn.
All right.
Plus, okay, here, okay. You know what's ironic? Him saying, "Oh, I know, subjective, and that not everyone's gonna like everything, and I'm not gonna say that you should like Rey." Ironic. Aren't you the same guy that said that we should hate Anakin Skywalker for how he was in Episode 2? And
Yeah, he even put it on his. Yeah, he put it.
That's the irony of the.
Yeah, he put him in this list of top 3 assholes along with Simba and that girl from the Golden Compass. I don't know her name because I don't like the Golden Compass series because it's it's a pro-atheist series and it's hypocritical.
Yep, that's the irony. Him saying that he's not like Rey, but yet he forced us to shit on Anakin Skywalker and hate him.
Anakin Skywalker.
Iron?
Yeah, he's not used to like.
Not even close.
He literally said in the movie that he failed every single race before that. He never completed one.
Yeah, he was still a flawed character even in the first movie, and to say that Rey seems overly powerful and Mary Sue and practically a Mary Sue at this point. Oh, but don't worry, just wait for the next film to do it. I shouldn't have to wait for the next film to get me character flaws to make me actually care about this character and think that she might be in danger, so I might be invested in her well-being. As is, she's a Mary Sue. She's overly powerful and does whenever she fights or does anything.
It's not just that she's overly powerful. Her decisions and her actions had no consequence at all in the end. I mean, you could argue that her struggles the Millennium Falcon. Oh wait, no, she actually piloted the thing way better than Han and Chewie. Oh no, she struggles the mind trick. Oh wait, she managed to do it in the end. Oh no, she decides to fight decides to not really use the lightsaber in the end because of the vision she got. Oh wait, she used it in the end and manages to even best Kylo Ren.
She freed the Raftard and now it's hunting her friends. Oh wait, she captured it.
Oh, and also about Anakin, he struggled during the race, and the only reason why he did as well as he did is, you remember before the race, Qui-Gon told him to trust his instincts.
Yep.
Very much like what Obi-Wan did several times.
Mm-hmm. Also, here's one thing. Anakin won the race. Yes, he helped his friends, but he also had to take a risk, which was leave his mother behind. He wanted to take
and
her.
he also felt really sad because of that. He was struggling with that loss.
And it served as an emotional turmoil for him throughout the rest of the trilogy. And going back to saying that we need the sequels to justify Rey, that only relies that it will eventually do that. And so far, it hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we have those plot leaks, and if they turn out to be fully legit, I mean, some things have been proven true, but if it turns out to be 100% legit, it just I mean, that might explain a few things, but it's not going to explain everything about her.
Mm-hmm. Also, if we go by the movies that right now came out, like how Confused Mathew said, "Oh, wait for the next movie." The next movie came out, and it only made things worse. Because now Rey's not only I'm going by the last. I know Episode 9 is going to retcon it, typical, but right now the Last Jedi says, "Oh wait, Rey is actually nobody. She actually has no connection to any Force sensitive, no nothing. She just came out of nowhere, and yet she's still so super powerful as fuck." And she managed to beat not just Kylo Ren again, I guess in some way. In the end, we've managed to. I managed to resist the temptation of the dark side, and I managed to get out of Snoke's ship alive. Managed to kill Snoke, and I also managed to best Luke Skywalker in combat. That's totally not Mary Sue. Yeah, right.
Oh, did you also mention that she trained herself and also lifted rocks, which is a Jedi? I mean, lifted boulders, which was a Jedi Master level feat.
Yeah, the amount of boulders she lifted and their size.
Even if that's Jedi Knight levels, that still is something that you don't master almost in a day. No, in a few days. It's insane.
Like if she'd spent like a whole entire day in meditation gathering the Force, maybe.
But
she didn't.
happen. So there is that. Oh boy, for the Mary Sue argument. So we want to get into Finn, or got something else to say about argument?
No. We should just finish this go over because I want to finish this as soon as possible. I got to do a laundry load before we do our next video.
All right, I'm at 9:57. All right, let's go.
Me too.
A stormtrooper who wants to flee the First Order. He's caught up in his first battle, but just doesn't have the heart or the stomach for all of this. This stormtrooper was ordered to kill an entire village of innocent people and could not bring himself to do it. Even before he takes his helmet off, we can already tell what kind of man this is. Someone insecure, unsure of his orders, scared, and above all, a good man. This character in particular has absolutely no analog to anything in the first Star Wars. His story is all about the journey into becoming his own person. He eventually decides to betray the First Order by rescuing pilot Poe Dameron, and as the two escape together, we are privileged to witness Finn taking his first steps into discovering who he is. We see him making friends for the first time, laughing for the first time, just getting to be a person for the first time. George Lucas couldn't make a single one of his characters in the prequel films come across as even organic life, much less characters. The fact that these new writers and this director could characterize a stormtrooper in the first few minutes of their film tells me that this new franchise is in good hands indeed. Lastly, we have BB-8, our new little droid buddy who sets himself apart.
These new characters are more.
Oh, you paused? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to say, Iron?
Okay, that's fine and dandy and all, but there is one little teensy, tiny thing you forget, Confused Mathew. It established that the First Order stormtroopers were basically brainwashed from a young age to be very loyal.
Yep. So it makes no bloody sense that Finn would actually turn from the First Order. It makes no.
It would be believable if that had not been the case, but it is.
And it also doesn't make sense because it was the Resistance, specifically Poe Dameron, that killed his friend, which should be motivating him to be more antagonistic towards the Resistance, not helping him escape and trying to get him to get away from the First Order. This is part of the reason why I don't consider Finn a character, or any of these quote unquote characters to be characters.
Finn is more of a plot device if you really think about it. He's not really a character. It's actually more of a plot device because to rebel in order to get Poe Dameron away, and in order to get I guess have Rey get out of the planet somehow, because I guess she did it by her. Oh wait, maybe she could do it on her own because she's a Mary Sue. Oh wait, typical. but yeah, Finn is more of a plot device, if you ask me, than he's an actual character.
Oh, and let's get into the whole BB-8 issue, which
I also want to
creates its own
say
set of plot holes.
Something in response to the whole thing about, the characters aren't organic.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay. How is...
You got this, or should I take over?
Anakin missing his mom like he does, that's realistic. And his reaction to the Tusken Raiders, what they did, that's realistic too.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, if your parents were taken by a group of people and killed, how would you feel?
Oh, speaking of that reaction,
I would be hard pressed to hold my Christian values, and I would be sorely tempted to take revenge.
Oh, by the way, Iron, speaking of that reaction that Anakin did, Confused Mathew actually mentions that reaction later in the video. So.
I bet he's gonna say. Ew.
I think Confused Matthew's argument is that it made Anakin look like a psychopath.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, we'll get to that. It's actually worse than both of those. You'll see. But here's another thing. You want to talk about genuine performances that in the prequels that makes the characters actually organic. What about Palpatine? Did you forget about him? Or Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan? Or, well, I definitely...
Yoda?
Well, Yoda, they say that he's stoic and boring like he used to be, but then again, he was like that even in the OT, but...
he's only being goofy to test Luke.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the next part.
All right, I'm at 11:07.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
From our other beloved droids by having a unique design and apparently being made out of pure awesome. I love BB-8.
Yeah, right. R2-D2 heading a soccer
ball. Kind of like R2-D2, but they managed to make him more childlike than R2, who always came across as capable and mature to me. It's hard to make one small, non-vocal droid who communicates through beeps and boops different from another, but BB-8 stands out indeed. But what I love about this trio of characters in the first half of the story is what a different take this was on a familiar setup, which I know is becoming a repeated theme in this review, but still. When R2-D2 and C-3PO were stranded on Tatooine in the first Star Wars, you had the brash droid being balanced out by the more level-headed droid. Actually, most of the time it was the other way around, but they had each other to provide a counterbalance and a help. Same with Luke and Obi-Wan. Luke always had the wise adult guiding him with training wheels before he had them yanked off and had to figure things out on his own with Obi-Wan watching over him. But there was always an experienced adult to help the inexperienced characters in the first film. Here, though, Rey, Finn, and BB-8 are all inexperienced kids and have no experienced adults at first. And they all have to kind of figure shit out and muddle through on their own. I've never really seen that before in a Star Wars film, and I thought it was a very intriguing idea. You see what I mean, though? I mean, people act like The Force Awakens has an analog to everything in the original Star Wars. This cast didn't have their version of Han Solo. Unless you count Han Solo, but I actually thought that worked out pretty well, too. There could have been a serious temptation to just make this a straight nostalgia film, but I was really impressed at how little they leaned on that. I mean, every once in a while, the film will go,
"Oops, did I accidentally activate the iconic chessboard from the first film?"
Actually, there's
for the most part,
plenty of moments that
the story of the old characters rather than reliving their glory days, and it makes them relevant to the new characters and stories as well. I like how Han Solo kind of became the Obi-Wan to Rey, except in the way of a scavenger instead of a wise sage.
Okay, guys,
Han Solo's role in the...
All right, let's do it.
Okay. You first, King. You first, King. What are you gonna say?
King?
Okay, sorry. I said, okay, saying that the movie had the original trilogy characters continuing their stories and not just reliving their glory days. What are you talking about? You have Han Solo, who got away from being a smuggler at Return of the Jedi and was being fully committed to the Rebel Alliance, and is now in Episode 7 gone back to being a smuggler. He's just recycling his whole character arc. I mean, this isn't like the expanded universe where he became a general. He's back to square one. What are you talking about, you idiot?
Oh yes, indeed. And also, can I mention how much he says? Oh, there's no Han Solo version in this movie. Oh wait, there is Han Solo. Oh, and also Poe Dameron was also this movie's version of Han Solo, as well as literally having Han Solo. So there is that. So there is that. Also, you know what's funny? He says that came Rey's version of Obi-Wan, but you know what's funny? but instead of being a Jedi, a wise old Jedi, it's instead an old scoundrel. It still is Rey's Obi-Wan.
Still is a mentor figure at heart, even if it's slightly changed up.
Yep. So that still is rehashing Episode 4, you dumbass. God. There is that. So, anyway, anything else to say, or shall we move on? I think we should.
Nah, yeah, we should move on. I want to get this over with as soon as possible.
All right,
Yes,
I'm at
let's go, Iron.
13:10.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Things that we learn about the other original characters through him adds to this story rather than just being a throwback or a nostalgia trip. He's not just there. He furthers both the new story that we're being introduced to, as well as shedding light on the old story that we really haven't learned that much about yet. I sat down to The Force Awakens the first time thinking, okay, time to find out what happened between the end of Return of the Jedi and the beginning of this film, but 2.5 hours later, that still wasn't very clear. In addition to only having vague allusions as to what happened to the rebellion, the new Jedi Luke was training, where Luke is, etc., these characters' role in the story is also a big mystery. What little we do learn about the fate of some characters unfolds very slowly around the events that are taking place. And on that note, I'd like to take a moment to sidetrack a bit and address another criticism of the film that I don't agree with. That being that The Force Awakens played it safe, took no risks, and just gave us something familiar and risk-free. Again, this might be true of the basic story, but it could not be less true when it comes to these characters. Return of the Jedi had a very clear, happy ending. Everyone came out a winner. Even someone who was supposed to be a villain came out on top in the end. The three main characters looked off into the camera knowing that their best days were ahead of them, and then the film comes to a close. But what we learn in this film is that things didn't work out so well for any of them after this. In fact, for all of The Force Awakens' fun and lightheartedness, there is also a very sinister
hey, just a sec, guys.
I'm
gonna
Luke tried to train a new generation.
Okay, what happened?
I just gotta go check on something.
Okay. He paused it, King, by the way. So.
All right, where were we?
I'm at 14:38. So let's just wait for Iron to come back. He's gonna edit this part out. I don't think he's gonna take too long. Hope to God he doesn't. Yeah. I'll get ready, King. The review only gets worse as time goes by. I'm surprised that after this review, Confused Mathew actually do any sort of reviews ever. In fact, his entire channel went incognito for almost 9 months.
I missed the days when Confused Mathew was considered an idiot who didn't know what he was talking about.
I think it still is considered that.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Okay, Aaron, what did you say?
Huh?
In what part of the video are you?
I'm at 14:41.
Okay.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Get ready, guys.
All right, let's go.
Hey guys, wait, guys, did you know that Confused Mathew was 40?
Was what?
Yeah, he's over 40.
Oh shit!
Well, that explains a lot.
So, That explains a lot when it comes to his OT fanboyism. There is that. Anyway, so shall we get on with this?
All right, let's go.
Jedi, but was betrayed and forced into hiding. And the betrayer of all people turns out to be Han and Leia's son. Han and Leia's relationship was torn apart as a result. They became estranged and went back to doing what they did before this whole mess started, just to try to get away from the pain of losing their son to the dark side. Telling us that our beloved characters whom we thought won the day and lived happily ever after actually ended up mostly torn apart and having their dreams shattered was a huge risk, and it's one that I thought paid off very well. But I've saved the best for last. Probably the best character to come out not only of this film, but of the Star Wars universe in general. Kylo Ren. This character was amazing. Amazing in the way that he defied expectations. Amazing in the way that his picture becomes clearer the more you see of him. Amazing because you start out thinking you know who and what he is, and then get kicked in the throat as to how utterly wrong you are. Right from the beginning, we see him strutting confidently with his force powers and his funny mask with the silly voice, and at first, I actually thought this was kind of lame. This is just a Darth Vader clone, I thought. He's confident, evil, powerful, and in charge. It's just the same character with a different mask. But then later we see him having to deal with bad news for the first time as he's told that the droid carrying valuable information has gotten away. And the guy throws a tantrum, taking his lightsaber and smashing the hell out of everything in sight, like he's pounding his fists on the ground and crying. What the hell is going on here, I thought? Vader would have just killed that guy and moved on to another plan. Who is this guy? In the later stages of the film, we even learn that he can take his mask off at will. He doesn't need it to survive. His decisions aren't always good ones. He doesn't always know what's going on. His every action is meant to impress Supreme Leader Snoke and prove to himself that he is everything that his grandfather was. And that's when it hits us. Kylo Ren is not the new Darth Vader. He's just an impressionable youth who wants to believe he is. In the final moments of the film, Han Solo confronts Ren and tells him, "Take that mask off, you don't need it." And that's when the concept for this character really hit me. Darth Vader wore a spooky mask and had a funny voice because things happened to him in his past that fucked him up. And he had to wear those things in order to continue on. They were like war wounds. But Kylo Ren wears the mask and uses the voice as if they were fashion statements, used to obtain by appearance what Vader had earned through experience. Kylo Ren begins his journey the same way Luke did, from square one, not really knowing what he's doing yet, not completely sure of how to be the man he feels he needs to be, except from the point of view of someone going down the dark path rather than the light. This was absolutely the best, most original concept the film provides. We've heard tales of characters being corrupted by the dark side, but we've never actually seen that. Come on, give me a break. Here we see it. We see Ren lamenting to the symbol of his grandfather that he's tempted by the light. When he's forced to make the decision to kill his own father, we see the terrible conflict in his face and his actions. Just to give you a contrast, this was the look on Anakin Skywalker's face when he killed children before turning to the dark side, and this was the look on Anakin Skywalker's face when he killed children after turning to the dark side. Same face, no conflict. Here, Ren is in conflict. He is struggling as any young person does. See, George, that is how you do a fall from grace story.
Pause.
All right, yeah, I paused.
Hey. Okay, first thing I want to say is, by the way, that's where I told you, Iron, he referenced the part in which Anakin was angry at the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, he basically just tried to paint that Anakin was the psychopath. That's what he said in his Attack of the Clones review.
He paints it as literally there's no conflict. We see no conflict in Anakin's eyes.
There is conflict in him. It started right from the Phantom Menace. Started with him being separated from his mother.
And in Revenge of the Sith, after he killed the Modians, the CIS, and the Separatists, he spent a little bit of time by himself on Mustafar.
Didn't he cry?
A tear go down his eye.
Yes.
Yeah, he cried.
He shed a tear.
He cried.
Because he...
Yes, because he knew what he was... He knew all he did was wrong, but he was making these sacrifices for his wife. It's called visual storytelling.
Yep.
You dumbass.
Which is something you've clearly never heard of, Confused Mathew.
Also, speaking of visual storytelling, he claims that, the facial expressions of Kylo Ren, that shows how much this is a conflicted character.
What is he conflicted over?
The fact that he gets to kill Han Solo when he's...
We know basically nothing about him, because we basically have to read books and comics to understand why he's going through what he's doing. With Anakin, we know why.
What drives him besides being a Darth Vader wannabe?
Which is...
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
And also he goes on about how like, ooh, this is so original.
By the way, he says that while at the same time she 3 because episode 3 did it first.
Yeah, and like me and Iron said, he's basically a Darth Revan wannabe. I mean, but you won't acknowledge that because you don't think the expanded universe counts.
Wait, did he actually say that before?
I mean, people. I mean, he usually references the expanded universe like the same way Plinkett does. He doesn't care about the expanded universe, and he doesn't think it should be used to defend the prequels.
I actually do agree with that because it needs to stand on its own. But
yeah, you know what's funny?
The thing is, the prequels are good on their own.
You know what's funny? How much you say Aaron, the boys have to stand on their own, and yet here's Confused Mathew saying that the Force Awakens needs the Last Jedi to stand on their own in occasions. That's the irony.
Yeah, really throwing stones in your glass house, Confused Mathew.
And also, can I mention something else? Kylo Ren uses a mask because it's a fashion statement that they should fear him. While as Darth Vader, he uses a mask because it's a war.
A fashion statement? What is he, a beauty queen? He's an emo beauty queen.
More like the emo beauty queen of terror.
Yeah, I mean, even if they made Kylo Ren a lot more similar to Darth Vader, that wouldn't be too bad. I mean, look at Darth Malgus. Darth Malgus acts a lot like Darth Vader, partly because Darth Malgus was the inspiration for Darth Vader. Well,
I'd argue it's more Darth Vane actually.
It's a mix of both.
But still going. Darth Malgus pretty much acts very similar to Darth Vader, and yet he still, as a character that can stand on his own, is very interesting.
Whereas Kylo Ren, he's more like a Darth Vader wannabe that not only does he does what Darth Vader did in the original trilogy, but he also somewhat rips off Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. Which you know what's funny when Confused Mathew says, I see Kylo Ren throwing a tantrum. You know what's? I'm surprised he didn't literally straight up rage at that because Anakin Skywalker had tantrums in the prequels, and yet you're giving Kylo Ren no problem having his tantrums. That's funny.
Yeah, you're just one big hypocrite.
Yep.
Literally.
Absolute fucking hypocrite.
All right, let's get through this, shall we?
Oh yes.
All right, I'm at 1814.
Oh, get ready. This is gonna get interesting.
All right, let's go.
I don't know. Needs more Dexter Jetser, if you ask George. I also think this could have used a 45-minute pod race.
I consider Kylo Ren's story to be a spiritual successor to the Anakin Skywalker story that they should have done, but didn't. This is a real fall from grace, and it actually makes you feel bad that this impressionable youth has been manipulated this way. Kylo Ren was my new favorite character for the simple fact that I've never seen anything like him before in a Star Wars film. And again, this whole conflict could...
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Kylo Ren, a hero from grace. When was he even a hero to begin with?
When did we... When?
Yeah.
When did we see his fall? The Last Jedi? That didn't even make any sense.
No, before The Force Awakens. Or during The Force Awakens. When was he a hero again? When the Kylo Ren
we never saw anything like that.
He was never...
What are you talking about? We saw that with Anakin. You don't want to count him. Oh, fuck you, Confused Mathew. Just fuck you.
Yeah, seriously, fuck you. Like that is so OT fanboyism to the fullest. Almost as much as Plinkett, if not just as bad as Plinkett, if you ask.
I think he said that he considers Plinkett one of his the people he respects or something. Because he said that before.
How much can I bet that Confused Mathew saw the Plinkett review of The Force Awakens and decided to make his review similar to him? Which is why the first 4 minutes has him shitting on the
Yeah. I mean, at least at least I can say he's not a complete drone because he at least had his own. He liked the Last Jedi where Plinkett didn't.
Well, there is that, and I can't believe that we're saying that at least Plinkett did something right compared to another person.
It's hard to admit that it's true.
We just offended Plinkett. Oh
Yeah.
God, I feel unclean.
God.
Look what you did to us, Confused Mathew.
Jesus Christ! No, this deserves a double fuck you by you, man. Anyway, so where were we, Iron?
I'm at 1844. So
okay, let's go.
Not be more different from the original Star Wars. The end of this film where Kylo Ren kills Han Solo is often compared to when Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan, but again, totally different context. Killing Obi-Wan was actually a benefit to Luke. It highlighted the spiritual nature of the Force that the Empire so easily dismissed. Killing Obi-Wan made him ethereal, and he was actually better equipped to help Luke in the end, and his presence reinforced his faith. Nothing like this takes place when Kylo Ren kills Han. Han just dies, and everyone just feels loss. What's more, this action added to Ren's character in a way killing Obi-Wan did not add to Luke's or Vader's. Anakin Skywalker didn't kill his father. Nobody in the Star Wars saga up to this point killed their damn father. And having Han Solo die at the end creates such a different conflict for the audience than did Vader killing Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was important to Luke. Han Solo was important to us. He was a beloved character who was murdered before our eyes by his damn son. If Ren's conflict turns out to be whether or not he can be redeemed at this point, that conflict becomes even more compelling now as we, the audience, has to decide if he can be forgiven not only for killing his own father, but for killing a character that we all loved. There are many more examples I could give as to the difference.
Pause. Okay, Iron, pause.
I'm paused.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. In what way did Han's death change Kylo Ren's character in The Last Jedi?
It didn't.
It didn't. Actually.
I mean, hell, him trying to spare his mom changed his character more than him killing Han Solo, and that and then they just kind of contradicted that by not having his men prevent killing her.
Not to mention Kylo Ren at the end taking over the First Order, so that also contradicted that shit. So there is that, and also Leia hugs Rey, but not Chewie, which that makes no sense when it comes to the death of Han Solo.
Yeah, and going back to The Last Jedi, remember how obsessed he was trying to destroy the Millennium Falcon as he was trying to destroy any remnants of his father?
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't add. So I'm supposed to take to this kid that he's obsessed. Yeah, I already got that from Failure Awakens. This is nothing new.
Yeah. Oh, and also the only one that got kind of affected by death of Han Solo was Rey, but that's about it because look, he never mourned Han, unless you count deleted scenes, but that's it, so it doesn't count. And the novelization gets retconned by the next movie eventually, so there's that. So I'm going by the movie alone. Luke didn't give a rat's ass for Han Solo's death. Leia actually didn't give a rat's ass death either. I mean, she hugged Rey, but Chewie, screw him, screw Chewbacca. I guess he gets too much fur, so that's why I don't want to hug something. Like, okay, there is that. So yeah, Han's death almost did nothing. Whereas Obi-Wan's death in the original trilogy, not only was Luke Skywalker, not only he had to fend for himself before he got to Yoda, by the way. Not only that, but also let's just say the death of Obi-Wan definitely made Luke into a better character, because not only because Obi-Wan was helping him spiritually, but also because he gave Luke the motivation to literally a bigger motivation to go up against the Empire. He already had it, but with his aunt and uncle, but Death Obi-Wan only segmented that even.
Yeah.
So, the same goes for his hatred for Darth Vader before that survived. So there.
Anyway. All right, let's finish this video because I got some things to do before we do our next video.
Okay,
We're at
Iron.
2007.
Okay, nice.
Alright, let's go.
Between The Force Awakens and the original Star Wars, but bottom line, I honestly can't stand it when all you hear about this movie is, it was just the first one. That is the least probative criticism I have ever heard. So much more of this film couldn't be more different. Ultimately, there wasn't a single character that I didn't love. There wasn't a single strategy of storytelling that I thought didn't work. The Force Awakens definitely covers a lot of familiar ground, but I thought that was a nice way to ease people into a new franchise. You know, rather than just dumping a bunch of unrelated images, characters, and a feel for the universe on screen and expecting us to still call it Star Wars. The Force Awakens is unmistakably Star Wars, and I thought the familiar plot was really just meant to kick things off anew. As of this review, The Last Jedi has yet to be released, so if they keep making the overplots the same, I may feel differently, but for now, I'm very happy with the way this was done. The Force Awakens is a perfect blending of the old and the new, of the strange and the familiar. It's a reunion film in some respects, but in many others it's a passing of the torch. And even with a very familiar overstory, it's the characters and their journeys that make The Force Awakens truly unique.
Now, all this is about is spaceships. My stories are about fathers and sons, not spaceships. Look, J.J. Abrams did a terrible job. For one thing, Kylo Ren is young and whiny. No characters in Star Wars are young and whiny. 2, I'm glad to see Harrison again, but why isn't he fighting CG ants? Numero trace. Where are all the medium shots of people droning on about politics? I mean, these stories aren't about spaceships. Star Wars was never about spaceships. Damn it, it's my story, and just because I sold it doesn't mean...
George, just... shut up and go be retired. Scale of 1 to 10?
Okay,
Wow.
now we can pause. So, what do you guys have to say? This?
That was dumb.
Confused Matthew, could you just do me a solid and shut up and delete your channel?
Well, he restructured it into something that's no longer Confused Matthew, so I guess that's the closest we'll get to that.
Yeah, anyway, just delete your channel.
More like delete the videos, at least. But anyway, so here's one thing. Here's one thing I'm gonna mention. Oh, that he's getting sick of people saying that the episode 7 is episode 4 2.0. Excuse me, but that's what it is. How can you literally say, "Oh, I'm so tired of people saying that this movie is exactly like the original, like the first Star Wars movie"? How are you literally going to expect that nobody's gonna say that when the movie literally is that? As in literally.
And General, can we honestly call Failure Awakens New Hope 2.0? Wouldn't 2.0 be an upgrade?
Well, I mean, in that case, it should be a New Hope minus 2.0. You know, that should be a new joke now I think about it. But okay. Here's another thing, Confused Mathew. Nowhere did George get on Kylo Ren being whiny, by the way. That's literally you putting words in his mouth. And then nowhere
Just like Plunkett.
What's up, Byron?
Just like Plunkett.
Yeah. And in nowhere did he say that, oh, my stories are about spaceships and about fathers and sons. No, he never said that.
He did say that it was about family, but he never said anything like what you're saying.
Literally. And you want to know and I got another question, King. So did he do what he said he would do with The Last Jedi?
Wait, what was?
Him basically saying that like The Last Jedi has not yet come out, but whatever it does, it will make me change. I think he was talking about being the same.
I think he said if it continued to rehash the original trilogy, he would have a problem.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch his review of The Last Jedi, but I did back when I was still watching his videos. I saw his post for his Facebook post on The Last Jedi, and he basically said that the Force was strong with The Last Jedi, and basically just went to unadulterated praise with it.
You want to know? you want to know something about his review of The Last Jedi? It's actually not a review. It's actually a 1-hour live stream of Resident Evil 2 with him talking about The Last Jedi. Yes.
I do not have
lazy.
the patience for this.
Can I ask why the fuck is he doing a discussion of The Last Jedi with Resident Evil 2 gameplay in the background?
Is it the original or the remake?
The remake.
All right.
Actually, he did it 1 or 2 months ago. Actually, that video. He literally was Confused Matt. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Confused Mathew was incognito, as in he literally disappeared from YouTube for like almost 9 months. Yes, he disappeared that long. In fact, his Force Awakens review is actually the last thing he did as Confused Mathew before restructuring everything and making it into some sort of gameplay focused channel. Yep, and he talked about The Last Jedi in a live stream in a live stream in which he was just playing all sorts of Resident Evil 2. So, wow. I guess the Force Awakens review did something that he was not happy with, or I don't know. Something happened. Something big must happen. But yeah, that's Confused Mathew for you, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, that was our
Indeed.
reaction to his terrible review.
Yep. Indeed.
So
Well,
we will see you guys around.
bye-bye.
Farewell, mortals.